On the American side, they have a very different attitude. Security has to come first, and it's not long before a demonstration of why. Lighter security on the Mexican side may mean commuters won't be waiting as long to get home as they did to get into the US earlier today. But it also creates an opportunity for those who want to enter America illegally. The side of the road with fewer guards is just too tempting for some desperate immigrants to ignore. The alert reaches the control room. A man has just run past the Mexican guards into America. In San Ysidro, the officers call these people port runners. This all-or-nothing dash into the US is an old trick. In the past, hundreds of port runners would rush the guards in the hope that at least some would make it through. But for officers, it's one of the most dangerous scenarios they can face.
We go through a lot of training with our officers on how to defend themselves, how to take somebody down. They have not only, of course, their weapon, but they have mace, they have a baton. So there's a lot of ways the officers can defend themselves against these people, and a lot of them are hostile.
In the watch commander's office, Officer Roselli had just started her shift when the alarm was raised.
Working at this port, we have to be ready for anything. At 16:38, we received our first radio call from one of our officers that was manning our U-turn lane that he visually saw a port runner. A single male was running up the freeway northbound into the southbound lanes. That's a vulnerability that we have, and so we need to be able to react.
6 officers bring the man into custody, but he's just 100 yards from the Mexican line. They know if he breaks free and runs across the border, there's nothing the US officers can do.
Somebody does get away, which is very, very infrequent. We can contact the Mexican authorities and they will attempt to apprehend the individual. They may not return him, but they may give us the information so that at least we have some intelligence on that individual.
But this time, the port runner is secure.
We'll bring him into custody, we'll run checks on him, we'll see if he has any priors, then we'll determine what kind of course of action we'll take.
The port runner was just a few yards from the Mexican line. It was in the very same spot that Officer Al Morales was caught up in a desperate attempt to cross the border the other way.
It is 11 o'clock in the morning, and we receive an alert that there's a hot pursuit.
It started early in the morning in Los Angeles when a robbery suspect fled police. For 2 hours, mile after mile, he kept pushing south at speeds reaching 90 miles per hour. When he finally reached the border, he was forced to stop because of traffic waiting to cross into Mexico. The car was surrounded by some 20 police officers with guns drawn.
But it was now that San Ysidro officer Morales stepped in.
I get to the car and I see a gentleman and a baby in the back seat. He grabs the baby, he digs in his pocket and pulls a knife. As I'm talking to him, he's pleading to let him go to Mexico. And I tell him, well, if you give me the baby, I'll tell him to let you go. We walk to the limit line. He throws the baby. I caught him and turn around and give it to another supervisor.
It was reported that Price had lost custody of his child and was trying to get him out of America.
We did our job. Nobody's shot, nobody's hurt. This baby's safe. Mission accomplished. It is just another story in San Ysidro. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen here.
Even here, the kidnap was an extraordinary event. But the hunt for drugs is everyday reality.